They embark today to retrace the steps of our ancestors on the Trail of Tears nearly 180 years ago. Before we get started, please rise as you are able for the posting of the colors and remain standing for the Star-Spangled Banner performed by the Cherokee National Youth Choir and a blessing by Dennis Sixkiller.
It. Ichigo, Ichigo, hey, snow, Jugi Jaska, Juicy Haska Uli, Heli Siji Goha, Najafli Hadusta, Nana Alenoxi, Jogatoska Uno, Leatela Haskai, and the rockets ran the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Idag då lyssning. Och idag det går det här skulle jag säga sist det går ju på sig det så jag det helig. Ni går ni gör du ni kuta här kvar det inte där näs så det där ni ska han så lägger det ist Oklahoma. Ni går du gör så här såna grejer i nej så eller nej nej. Och det är det kvar ni lite det då ska det nog hela klar det inte ska. Det skulle din till ni då skulle det ha sett det ges av att det här du vet det ges det där ni lås eller one day eller ha jag du ni lås då jag ges det ges det du gör nu stan hela ni gör eller ni gör ni gör innan du gör vad one day eller ha eller hela lite när kaos just under och så eller cái Johanna heter det där näsele i nästa det ska ju helt det så ska så där ni går du det här det ges eller så lägger det ut skott för det helige ni går ni gör då nära det helige det ska ni gå hela nej tid ska ni det då gör det då lite ska amen.
Amen. The Cherokee National Youth Choir will now sing North Wind.
Josanaku
We now come to the part of the program where it is my responsibility to recognize dignitaries and special guests. Invariably, I always leave someone out, so we're going to start this way today. We're going to begin by recognizing the most important people in attendance today and in our great nation, and that's the Cherokee people. Please recognize them. I start with them because the next gentleman always puts Cherokee people first. It is my honor to recognize Principal Chief Bill John Baker. The same can be said for our Deputy Principal Chief, S. Joe Crittenton. The Cherokee Nation Secretary of State, Chuck Hoskin, Jr. Chief of the Cherokee Nation Marshal Service, Shannon Buell. Director of the Cherokee Nation Gaming Commission, Jamie Hummingbird. Members of the Council, the Speaker of the Council, former Principal Chief of the Cherokee Nation, Joe Byrd. At-large Council Member, Mr. Jack Baker. Executive Directors of Programs of the Cherokee Nation, Ron Etheridge, Deputy Director of Education. Dr. Neil Morton, Senior Advisor, Education Services. Connie Davis, Executive Director, Health Services. Stacy Leeds, Law School Dean, former Justice of the Cherokee Nation Supreme Court. Miss Cherokee, Jaleesa Pittman. Junior Miss Cherokee, Madison Whitekiller. Little Ambassadors, Nathan Lowry. Macy Fields. Max Puget. Max, raise your hand. There you are. Very good. Our bike riders. They come from throughout the 14-county jurisdiction of the great Cherokee Nation. Some of these members drove as far away from Arkansas, which is not all that far here, and Oklahoma City to practice, to prepare for this great ride. At this time, I'm going to ask each to rise, give your name, and where you're from, please. So you can start at whichever end you want to start at. Okay.
I'm Glendon Van Sant, and I'm from Silent Springs, Arkansas.
I'm Blaine Workman. I'm from Muldrow, and I'm from Sequoia County.
Kelsey Garrity from Warner, Oklahoma.
Nikki Lewis from Tahlequah, Oklahoma.
Amber Anderson from Oklahoma City.
Amisha Craig from Tahlequah.
I'm Kyler Tremblay from Proctor, Oklahoma.
I'm Stephanie Hammer from Tahlequah.
Sammy Hausberg, originally from Stillwell, Oklahoma, but now Pearl City, Hawaii.
Stacy Leeds, Muskogee, Oklahoma, now Fayetteville, Arkansas.
At this time, it is my honor to ask Deputy Principal Chief of the Cherokee Nation, S. Joe Crittenton, to the podium for some remarks.
Thank you, Chief of Staff. My, how time flies. It seems like just a very few months ago when we had another group of writers here in the council chambers. And here we are again with another great group of young people and some folks. I noticed Sammy said he was from Stillwell originally. Sammy, I think you and I were in high school about the same time. Yeah. Who all gets up early in the morning? Early, like 5 o'clock, 4:30? I get up at 5 or 5:30 lots of mornings. And this morning, I was sitting there, I got me some coffee. I turned on the lights to make coffee. Then I turned the lights off and watched the sun come up. Listened to the birds start singing. And I used that time. This morning, I was thinking about trips that I had taken in my life, reflecting on things that were highlights and, some things that didn't turn out real well, but I was reflecting on that. My wife got up and says, "What are you doing sitting in the dark?" But I do that a lot. It's a quiet time. It's time I can think about things that's important in life and even use it as a prayer closet if, either then or in the evenings. But these folks are heading out on a journey that we've seen year after year. The halls were filled with excitement this morning. Now you could feel it in the air. But soon they'll come back home. Them and the Eastern Riders, they'll join up and they'll come back home. They'll be tanned and toned and they'll be changed. I mean, they'll be, and the thing about it is you can share your stories with your family, your friends at birthday parties or whatever. But down the road, you too may have a time when you'll be sitting quietly in the morning, having a cup of coffee. And this is something that'll stay with you your entire lives. Life's about choices. There's good choices. Sometimes there's choices we make that are not so good. But you have made a wonderful choice. And Sammy, if you'll let me use your name, Chief Bird, former Chief Bird and I talk about joining sometimes and doing some riding. And I always say, there's been too much water flow under the bridge for me. But you know what? You give me hope. And so maybe one day I'll if they can come up with a uniform fitting for a guy like me, I won't be wearing some of the stuff the younger folks wear. But I certainly would like to go sometime. Thanks for coming this morning. This is a great event, and it's about a good effort and a good journey they're going to take to retrace the steps that our ancestors were forced to make. They're making it because they want to. There's a lot of difference there, and it's going to be something great. Thank you so much.
Deputy, those uniforms come in all sizes. And the thing that you have and these young people have, including the gentleman from Stillwell, is Cherokee heart. And you have that. So I promise you that uniform will fit you. At this time, on behalf of the Tribal Council of the Cherokee Nation, I would like to ask the former Principal Chief of the Cherokee Nation, current Speaker of the Tribal Council of the Cherokee Nation, Mr. Joe Bird, to the podium. Joe.
Osione Gadawa, what a great day to be a Cherokee. This is, remember the removal rider send off? As Deputy was talking, he and I have talked about this many times about the uniforms. I said, one of these days, Deputy Chief and I will make that trip. And when someone comes up with traditional pair of shorts that Cherokees wore a long time ago, maybe with ribbons, and maybe one of those buttons when you just, you can push a button on a bike and it speeds up a little bit. One of those. So we're kind of modern these days. We can make it that way. But what a great day to start an adventure. And it's an honor to be able to visit with you this morning before you begin your journey. The 10 of you have been selected after extensive process. You've been interviewed. You've written essays and undergone a complete physical and received road training. But I have to say the challenges you've met so far hardly compared to those you'll undertake in the next month and the next 950 miles. We have made that trip many times, my daughter and I. I first made that trip over 35 years ago. And I wondered first when they called it the Smoky Mountains, where they got the word, of course. You always see that haze. As we got past Gatlinburg, I was with the elder and another friend. As we started up the hill, it got quiet. It was late in the evening, and you could actually hear the water coming down the hill there. Then I began to start smelling the smoke off the mountains. And actually, I started getting a different feeling there. There was a feeling of being home. There was a feeling of ancestry. There was a feeling of joy. All those different feelings came over me as we were going up the hill, and I could hear that water running down. And once we got there to Cherokee and started visiting with some of these people, there was a 96-year-old lady there, one of the original speakers. We had a chance to visit with her. Then there was another lady from Oklahoma that was there that was 94 years old. And those two came together and they embraced. Instead of having recorders and cameras, we just let them talk because tears came to their eyes. They wanted to visit. They've never been together before. This was a time of not PR. This was a time for two people coming back together after all these years. And I really commend you people for taking this trip. You will be different people when you return. When you return, you'll be using the word ski. I guarantee you'll be saying that word ski. Talk to our royalty back there, Miss Cherokee and Junior Miss and the little ones. When they return, coming back from North Carolina, even our people, they always want to use that word ski. It means thank you in their language. So they'll use it a lot, so you'll be using that word. And the way they treat you there when you go home, the way they lay out the red carpet is unmatched. It's hard to match how they treat you there. And we've got a long ways to go here, but we will. And we thank you for that. Every year we send our riders off as individuals, and every year they return as a family. The road is long and tedious, but you are Cherokee. I have every faith you will rise to the challenges and help each other along the way, just as our ancestors did. Good luck, safe travels. We are so proud of you. And parents, family, we thank you for allowing this to happen.
At this time, it gives me great pleasure to welcome up to the podium the person that makes all of this possible. The Cherokee people are a great people, and we have a great leader. And at this time, I'd like to welcome to the podium our Principal Chief, Bill John Baker.
OCO, and welcome. You know, today is a wonderful day in the Cherokee Nation. Almost a perfect day to send these riders off. We've got 8 young Cherokee riders and 2 others. They will join 7 riders from the Eastern Band of the Cherokees, and together they will start a trek from Newachota, Georgia, to Tahlequah, Oklahoma. And I want to especially thank Stacy Leeds because this is the first group that is going to get college credit for this trek. Now, there is no doubt that all of the other groups got an education, as will this group. They will come back knowing more about where their ancestors came from and their way of life, the trials and tribulations that our ancestors suffered. They will be on the very footsteps and hear our ancestors in the trees, in the streams. They'll see the graves. They will come back with a full understanding what burns inside each and every Cherokee because of what our ancestors accomplished and did and never gave up and kept that Cherokee spirit alive and ready to rebuild here in Indian Territory. They'll retrace that 950 miles. It's going to get hot, folks. You're going to get rained on. It's not going to all be pleasant. That's when you dig deep and you help each other keep going forward, pedal after pedal, block after block, mile after mile, until you're back in the bosom of the Cherokee people. This is a chance of a lifetime. There are thousands of young Cherokees all over the United States that are envious of you today, that wish they were getting ready to experience what you're getting ready to experience. Now, we know that when you come back, you will be more than willing to share everything you've gone through with others and maybe pique their interest so that they want to do it the next year. And not unlike Sammy Hausberg, it might be on some of our bucket list to make this trek that you're making at a very young age. You know, you're going to take the northern route that our ancestors took in 1839. When you return, you will know more about that route than anyone in this room, other than some of the elder writers. It's hard work. It's a unique challenge. The nation could not be prouder that you have chosen to dedicate your time, your talents, your energy to growing. Now, you're going to leave 8 young people. You're going to come back a very large family that your parents are almost not going to recognize your maturity. It's happened every time, and it's a true metamorphosis. You will come back as adults. We want to know that you have the prayers of the Cherokee people, that you're writing not only for us, but for your ancestors as well. We pray each and every one of you have safe travels. God bless each and every one of you. And God bless the Cherokee Nation.
At this time, we'll have the Cherokee Immersion 4th graders come forward and sing One Drop of Blood. Please recognize them as they come forward.
There's more 4th graders. Seems like I've been here before. But anyway, they're going to sing for you. And For those of you out there that sing and you know One Drop of Blood, sing with us, sing with us. And this is for you all. This is for you all. I'm going to step back here and you can ask.
Gadoda Jaya Dameli Jisa O Gajeli Jaga Wiyuhi O Kali Kali Nana Guyeno Jogila Wisane Di O Gajeliga O Gajeliga Jaga Wiyuhi Jaga Wiyuhi Jajeligano Jajeligano Jaga Wiyuhi Jaga Wiyuhi O Gajeliga O Gajeliga Jaga Wiyuhi Jaga Wiyuhi Jajeligano Jajeligano Jaga Wiyuhi Jaga Wiyuhi O Gajeliga, O Gajeliga, Jaga Wiyuhi, Jaga Wiyuhi, Jajeligano, Jajeligano, Jaga Wiyuhi, Jaga Wiyuhi, O Gajeliga, O Gajeliga, Jaga Wiyuhi, Jaga Wiyuhi, Jajeligano, Jajeligano, Jaga Wiyuhi, Jaga Wiyuhi.
Proves once again, two is enough. At this time, I would be remiss if I did not recognize the people that helped make this possible. This seems like it just comes together and these folks sit in these chairs today and get ready to do what they're going to do. But at this time, I'd like to recognize the ride staff and the committee for the Remember the Removal. Please stand, staff and committee members. I also have been told that we have another council member present, a strong supporter of the bike ride, and he looks like he could do it any day he wanted to, but Mr. David Walkingstick. David? As the riders prepare for this 950-mile journey, it's always encouraging to get some advice from someone who knows the joys and the agonies of the ride and also to let these riders know that it is possible to return and it is possible to do this. So at this time, I'd like to recognize a member of the 2015 Remember the Removal Cyclist, Billy Flint.
Let me, I guess, start off by saying how truly humbled I am to be given the opportunity to speak this morning to this year's riders. This program last year, I can honestly say, with a full heart, is the best thing I've ever done in my entire life, and it's given me an opportunity to have people in my life that share similar goals and values. So I'm sitting there, and there's more standing up back there, and I love them to death, and I would do absolutely anything for them. So I'd be remiss if I didn't start off by saying that. I'd also like to recognize my mother. This is the second year in a row she's come to one of these things. So, 2016, Remember the Removal Bike Riders. A year ago, I sat in the same chairs in which you now sit with my teammates, looking forward to leaving and getting to North Carolina. I remember feeling anxious, nervous, and excited all at once as speaker after speaker came to the podium and told our friends and family in the audience that once we came back, we would be different people. For many of you, like it was for many of us, this may be your first time to visit our original homelands of North Carolina. As the mountains begin to emerge, you'll almost feel them beckoning to you, like you're coming home. This was described by one of my teammates as missing something you never knew that you missed. As you meet the Eastern Band riders and you get to know each other the first couple days, it might seem like it takes a little bit for things to click. You'll hear a ski instead of wado, and you'll be referred to as Western Band. To them, you're not Cherokee Nation, you're Western Band. The first few days of the trip are fun. You get to know your new teammates, you get to drive around in a van, you see the places your individual families might have come from, and they do a really good job with that. And you get to be treated to amazing hospitality from various groups of people. Then the ride actually begins. And I don't even need to lie to you, it's hard. It's really, really hard. 60 plus miles a day in the heat and in the rain, and if you're really lucky like us, you'll get a tropical storm that follows you for a week. But at this point, everything starts to become real. For months, you've read and studied about places of interest and their history and what they meant to the Cherokee Nation in its darkest moments. It's no longer a place on a map, these places, but they're actual locations with the residual impact. Now you begin to feel the pain, experience the doubt, the hunger, frustration, and determination that must have been felt by our ancestors. And in my mind, this is where the true potential of the bike ride becomes realized. You might be somebody that views yourself as independent, but you'll have to rely on others, because the day will come when you don't think you can go another inch. And the next day, the person who helped you, well, they might need your help. And on the flip side, you might be somebody who doesn't know what your true inner potential is until forced with the daunting task of climbing a huge hill with nobody else in view and only your aching joints forcing you onward against your own self-doubt and a deep, abiding belief that there are people who once walked the same hill you're now biking, pushing you on, guiding you on, and holding a sense of gratefulness that by going through this process, their descendants won't ever forget what they did so we could be here today. The weeks go by and things begin to blend in. Eventually you'll forget the date that any particular event occurred, and the story will be, remember when that crazy thing happened in Arkansas or that weird incident in Kentucky? And the late nights and the early mornings will become second nature. Putting your bike together during the sunrise amidst the smell of sunscreen and the sounds of chin straps clicking will become a daily ritual that you will take for granted, and I envy you for that. As close as you are now, you'll become even closer to the point when you get home and you see one person, you expect to see all the others. You truly become a family, a unit that relies upon, cares for, and protects each other. While the date for your arrival home draws nearer, emotions become mixed and bittersweet. You'll be ready to see what you've missed, but at the same time, you know this chapter of your life will be coming to a close. The last 36 hours will be some of the most emotional moments you've ever had. The thrill of seeing the state line and reaching Oklahoma is one of the biggest feelings of accomplishment I believe any of us had ever felt. And however, that night, your last night together with your new family, and realizing as you wake the next morning that things will be different takes its toll as well. The last day is different than the other days. And it's not just the fire trucks escorting you to downtown Tahlequah. It's not the crowds greeting you. It's not the ceremony. It's not receiving your medal. It's the fact that this part of the journey has ended. But you know that the ride will never end. The friendships, the lessons, the memories never cease. So yeah, the ride truly never ends. You'll miss the feeling of the roads. You'll miss the seemingly endless miles of highways. You'll miss the rest stops where the most amazing naps using your helmet as a pillow and the most life-changing conversations occur. My biggest advice to you would be this: do not have any expectations. Don't leave here today thinking you will or will not gain anything from this experience, and don't be afraid to be vulnerable and let the experiences wash themselves over you. And don't be afraid to let others need help when you do. I suffered dehydration, I guess, last year, and I didn't tell anybody. And there are a few things in life that you spend the rest of your time in this world thinking about every single day, and this journey will be one of them. I think of the inside jokes we had, such as Sherry the Bab driving Big Red, Kayla and the deer, the bear terrorizing the girls at the hotel from The Shining, trying to act like we fit in at a 4-star hotel while we were all wearing our biking kits, almost breaking my ribs after having a heated literary discussion about John Steinbeck with Haley Sego, and along with too many others to mention. I think of how Oklahoma will never feel like home as much as it used to, because a part of my heart and my soul will always remain in the mountains of North Carolina. I think of how I still see a large number of my teammates and keep in touch with many others. I think of how they believed in me more than I believed in myself. I think of sitting in the shadow of Mantle Rock and letting the pure emotion of that moment overcome us. I think of being at Blythe's Ferry and being able to literally touch the names of my ancestors that were removed from their lands. I think of receiving one of the greatest honors I've ever had, thanks to my teammates, being asked to represent Cherokee Nation, riding into Tahlequah on the last day, alongside Kevin Tafoya as he represented the Eastern Band. I'm a better person, I'm a stronger person, and I'm a more socially conscious person because of this ride. I've had experiences and met people I wouldn't have otherwise, and I know in the years to come, because of this program, I will have the abilities and drive to achieve whatever I set my mind to. 2016, remember the move of bike riders. We are already proud of you. I know you're ready to go, and I envy you. I wish I could relive the experience you're about to have. Keep God and your teammates close. Never falter from your desire to honor those that came before us, and have the time of your life, because that's what you're in for. Thank you.
One more time, I would like to ask that remember the removal staff please stand. And I would like to also acknowledge the trainers, Marshal Kevin Jackson and alumni rider Sarah Holcomb. Please stand. Now, again, riders, to drive home the point that you can do this and you will return, I would like to ask all alumni riders and legacy riders to please stand. As this part of this adventure draws to a close, I would like to ask to come to the podium at this time and recognize our Secretary of State, Mr. Chuck Hoskin, Jr.
OCO, everyone. Well, I'm very proud of you today. In fact, the nation is proud of you today. You know, removal has quite naturally been a source of pain and historic trauma for our people for generations. And the Remember the Removal program has taken that and has seized upon a source of enduring pride. And that's important. That's important for Cherokee people and indeed Native people all over the country to take those dark chapters in our history and to be able to find a way to turn that darkness into something that is a source of pride that we can build upon, that we can grow with. And there's been much said about the fact that When you return, you'll be a stronger family. You'll be stronger people. You'll have experiences that probably will be unmatched in your lives, but this is really something that the whole nation shares with you. Your countrymen will be with you as you travel that trail. And when you come back, our nation will be prouder. Our nation will have a stronger stature, and we will have an enduring source of hope because you all took that ride. So we will be with you all the way, and we're very proud of you. Wado.
Riders, and this is the beginning of a great adventure for you. And throughout your travels, you've heard a former rider tell you it'll be difficult. The miles will be long. But what you will come to recognize is you'll hear the same thing that our ancestors heard as they were making that trip on foot. Another Cherokee will turn around and say, "You can do it. You can make it. Keep going." And then we'll welcome you back. We'll welcome you back home. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we draw this program to a close. We will go outside for some photos, I believe, if someone is, and if I've left anything out, feel free. I have not left anything out. That's amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for taking part in this.